What's up and welcome to Champions of Lore, a show all about the kick-ass stories behind some of Idle Champions' coolest campaigns and characters. Every Monday at 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time here on twitch.tv/CNE Games or later on your favorite podcast service. B. Dave Walters and Erin M. Evans talk about all the Idle Champions lore that's fun to know about. If you hear this live in the chat, you can leave a question that I, Treavor Bettis, will ask them later in the show. Well, at least I'll ask B. Dave. But until then, B. Dave, hi, take it away.
So I realized, to everyone's great disappointment, including myself, I am not Erin M. Evans. She was otherwise unavoidably detained this morning. So hopefully our dear friend will be back with us next week. I'm going to have to go and listen to a recording because, again, the week doesn't start till I hear Erin laugh.
And I tried to get a GIF of her laughing, but it wouldn't work in the overlay. So I tried, viewers, this is just normal to you.
That is true. Well, no, she would have been laughing by now. So even they're like, it's like something's missing, you know? It's like a disturbance in the forest. Like Erin's voice cried out and then was silent. You know, yeah. B. Dave Walters. I say words about things. I do a lot of this. I'm somewhere doing something almost 7 days a week. Most notably, I'm the dungeon master for the Black Dice Society, and I'm the stunt Trevor here. Also, I'm the stunt Erin right now. I'm double standing.
That's what I should have done. I should have just put you twice. Just put you in Erin's spot, and you could talk for her.
Yeah, between two ferns. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh, no, we can't do that sort of episode. So yeah, the name of this episode, because I already saw some people in chat go like, "What?" It's a Pulp Fiction reference. There you go.
Kids today.
Mm-hmm. I told B. Dave I had the idea for. He's like, I bet you won't.
I did say it. Bet you're scared. Mm-hmm.
But we're here to talk about mind flayers today.
Mind flayers.
The nasty boys. What sound do they make, B. Dave?
Mind flayers. Yes, sir.
No. Not a fan. Not a fan. Mm-mm. I mean,
I do enjoy speaking mind flayer.
Because Freely spent some time as a mind flayer, didn't he?
He did. When Freely first appeared, he appeared as a mind flayer, which, fun fact for those of you that have been with me a while, I found out when you did. I rolled up a halfling, and Todd starts describing this mind flayer, and he's like, "It's you," and I'm like, "All right, I'm a mind flayer." Yeah, So achievement unlocked there. Yeah, Freely spent quite some time as a mind flayer, actually. It's something that we've yet to fully dig into in his background, but that's why he can speak the language and pilot their craft. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm guessing that gives you a little bit of good lore knowledge on a mind flayer.
I mean, here's the problem. My character, whose int is a dump stat, was a mind flayer, so he may or may not have been paying attention to anything, to tell you the truth. But big fan of the mind flayers. First of all, shout out to James Hake in an article he wrote for D&D Beyond about the mind flayers and about playing them as a sufficiently ever-present menace to your players. And season 2 of Dungeons and Dragons: A Darkened Wish is almost all mind flayers, because what I'd intended to be about a 2 to 3 episode arc just kept getting worse for them. And I was like, well, let's just see where this goes then. Yeah, and the entire season almost into them dealing with illithids underneath Waterdeep down outside of Skullport. So yeah. It's a big fan of the mind flayers.
Yeah, for chat, if you don't have the Google available, here's the mind flayer boy. This is terrible for audio listeners, but I'm holding up a mind flayer pop.
It's true. Yeah, imagine that, but less cuddly.
Yeah, you know.
Actually, I take that back. The mind flayer absolutely wants to cuddle. No, 100% wants to cuddle. Yeah, it's the illithid. So it's interesting. You know, we talked in the past about the open gaming license for D&D, and that some things, even though it's heavily borrowed from other forms of fantasy, some things are innately, uniquely D&D, and the mind flayers are one of those things.
Yeah, let's be honest. It's a Cthulhu thing. Like that is 100% a Cthulhian thing.
Yeah, if you they're definitely a Lovecraftian horror, definitely. They're kind of palish, bluish purple. They have tentacles coming from their faces. They've got like a mouth inside of that. That they like to eat brains. They like to stun everybody and then wrap their tentacles around your head and eat your brain, and it is a wrap when that happens. So yeah, there's they're great. It's funny because as in general they are another supremacist race of entities, and they often cohabitate with the beholders that are equally supremacist, although apparently the beholders at least grudgingly respect the mind flayers. If nothing else, the mind flayers way outnumber beholders, and we'll talk about this later when we get to the reproduction.
Oh no.
Beholder mind flayer fusions exist. Beholder mind flayer hybrid creatures exist. Yeah.
I can't wait for that. But where exactly do you want to start with mind flayers?
Let's begin at the top here. So all right, again, mostly you can find them in the Underdark, but you also can find them all throughout the planes. They are a multi-planar species. They seek to enslave and conquer all sentient things everywhere. They are, super happy, friendly people, They basically are incapable, more or less, of positive emotions. They exist solely in the negative space, and the only thing that brings them fulfillment is either eating brains or satisfying their curiosity. To which I say, girl, same. I feel very seen by the illithids. They're amphibious, although nobody knows where they come from originally. They're highly sensitive to light. That's why they like it down in the Underdark. They got spaceships and stuff, which again in Baldur. I love, by the way, everybody's like, is Spelljammer coming back? Is Spelljammer coming back? And they're like so vague about it. But then Baldur's Gate 3 is like, well, here's an illithid spaceship.
Okay, like I have literally directed people to that video. Just be like, when someone's like, "What is a mind flayer?" I'm like, "Go watch that video." When someone's like, "What's a Githyanki?" I said, "Go watch that video," because that video goes from 0 to 60 so fast.
It does. Yeah, that Baldur's Gate 3 trailer is very much the creatures we're talking about. Which, by the way, that reminds me. Hang on, I have to say, it's Greengrass is the name of the event, right? Yeah, that is the event that is going on right now in Idle Champions. We as consummate
boys,
you can go and fight mind flayers. Please try and do so carefully. It is a war between or a battle between the Githyanki or the multiple flavors of Gith that we will talk about next week.
Ooh, spoilers.
We do. I know. Tune in, and maybe you'll get to hear Aaron laugh. Are doing battle with the mind flayers, and that event's going on right now, and it'll be over by next week, so you can log into Idle Champions now. Go to war. Also, watch out for getting open. Yes, another tab. Do not close this tab. Yeah, careful that you don't get mind blasted and stunned, and then get your brain eaten. Though, like, don't let Freely get his brain eaten in your formation, please. He's made it this far.
Don't do it.
And I don't know how fulfilling it would be for the mind flayer in question. By the way, like big hard little brain. That's my. Yeah, you get some hard eaters. They want him. Otherwise,
no. But yeah, so they come from another world, which I don't know why when I learned that was like a mind-blowing moment to mind-blowing. Like I think they were the first ones that I learned. I'm like, oh, there's like straight up aliens in this game, and I didn't realize it.
Yeah, anything that is an aberration is that. It is from another planet or another plane or another planet on another plane. Yeah. Which I do realize aberration is just kind of a catch-all. It is just like, is it that thing? Yeah, but I mean, that is sort of what it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they're delightfully extra in the development of their craft. Like, the craft have tentacles and stuff. I'm like, that's unnecessary, but I'm for it. I'm for it. So they spread out across the planes and across the planets, and there's a very heavy presence of them in the Underdark. There always has been. They kind of have I preach just like Drow, Beholders, Dweegar, Mind Flayers, like everybody in the Underdark are frenemies. You know?
Sorry,
like,
I just pictured a recasting of Sex in the City, but with everything from the Underdark.
first of all, I'd watch that show.
100%.
I may have to create that show.
I want to be a cast member, please.
You know, wait a minute. Hang on a second. Now, this bears further exploration. 2 questions. Which one from Sex and the City are you? As manifested into what kind of denizen of the Underdark?
I don't know why I want to say Samantha's a beholder. But I do. And I want to be that one.
Samantha has, I mean, I'm for it. She's not.
She's
you
not
know,
not.
she's not.
Yep.
There it is. Samantha's a beholder. I just now I like big eyelashes and like mascara under one of the eyes. A big handbag hanging off of one of the stalks.
In a future Idol Champions Presents, if Iris ever gets a friend, it needs to be Samantha as a beholder.
That's Iris's spinoff show. Is when she goes, I gotta go visit my friends in the old neighborhood. The old neighborhood, meaning the Underdark. You know?
Oh, what
like
have we done?
It's Never Sunny in Menza Branson.
This is gonna be just an hour now of just us recasting sitcoms as Underdark shows.
Do not tempt me. Do not, this is me trying to be on my best behavior for the sake of my homie who ain't here.
Right.
Somewhat ineffectively. So yeah, now wow, that's you know what, chat, you guys also let us know. Again, Drow, Dwegar, Mind Flayer, Beholder, Sex in the City, stunt cast it for us.
Please do it. Please do it. I need this. I need this in my life.
Is because I mean, then my mind went to like, who's Mr. Big then?
Oh no.
You know, I already made my argument that there should be a far greater vampire presence in the Underdark.
Dude,
they're like,
yeah.
They're like, let me get this straight. There's a place where the sun never rises.
Seems free chill.
Direct us to that place.
And this is a joke from my streams, but there should at least be a vampire retirement home down there. Like they should at least be like, you know what? I've had enough of these adventures coming into my freaking mansions. I'm done with it. I'm gonna retire down here.
It's the Florida of.
It's the Florida.
I think we already knew the Underdark was already the Florida of Faerun, though. I think we I think we can all agree on that. Even those of you that are from or in Florida, you know better than most. You know it. You know what you did.
So what do the Mind Flayers get up to in the Underdark?
What don't they get up to in the Underdark? So again, they expressly want to enslave all sentient races, which again probably makes them very questionable neighbors. You know, high fences in the Underdark, but again, you know, open war on each other is costly. Whereas, like, remember we were saying the Beholders hate everybody, including other beholders. Like, there's very minimal cooperation amongst beholders. There is extreme cooperation amongst the Mind Flayers because they're all connected to elder brains.
Yes.
They're a hive mind, but they're a regional hive mind. They're not like the Borg, where like all Borg everywhere are plugged into the collective.
Assimilated.
You will be assimilated. Love the Borg so much.
Do that with the Mind Flayer sound.
You will be assimilated.
That's awesome. That's someone's ringtone now.
Resistance is futile.
There we go.
There you go. It's my gift to you. So, if you can find it, if you go back to the very first episode I did, because this was way back when they were Heroes of the Veil was one, because Freely legit has been through like 5 reboots.
I know. I'm just like, you have to remember which one, because there's been so many titles.
Dude, he's gone up and been leveled back down so many times. But the very first one, when I guest starred on there, and he was a Mind Flayer, I did a scene where he eats a brain, and you should listen to it. Listen to it. I won't do it for you again right now, but it is some choice brain eating ASMR.
It's already haunting my dreams.
So yes, the Mind Flayers very much have a society, but it's interesting because again, they're all terrible, and their society is parasitic. It's all parasitic. They are asexual. They are neither male nor female. Twice in their lifetime, they lay eggs because why wouldn't they? It's awful. The eggs produce these tadpole things, which again, if you've seen the Baldur's Gate preview, the thing that they put in that dude's eye. So the tadpoles get kept for about 10 years and are actively encouraged to like kill other tadpoles, like so the strong can survive. It's like straight up like Spartan Kyogi, but with tadpoles, you know? And then when past a certain point, when they're ready, they are exposed to a host, which the tadpole goes in and eats the brain out and then turns that person into a mind flayer.
So wait, let me get this straight, because this is something I didn't know.
Oh, yeah.
All mind flayers are that way. Like, there's not just a mind flayer that was just born that way. Like they all.
They are a parasitic invasive species. Yep.
I hate it.
Yep. Which is wild though, because this is one of those things where, you know, Erin and I would take our detour into the ecology.
Oh, I'm here.
But how does the creature even begin to evolve that? Because, you know, like somebody's got to put that tadpole in somebody else's eye. You know what I mean? Like, how do we?
Okay, let me say this one, because this is what's making me think of, and if it gives you an adventure hook, there we go. There was a script that wasn't used for the movie Prometheus, and I read it, and I hate that it didn't get made, because essentially what it was the humans went to the planet. Big old dudes were like, hey, we hate you, we're gonna start killing you. And so they chased them through this compound. The humans locked themselves in a lab and essentially found like the proto-xenomorph and then made it into what it is to kill everything else. And I kind of love the idea that the illithids were made to do this by another race, and then they just got out. Like, they're the xenomorph of the D&D world.
I mean, there is a non-zero chance that is absolutely the case. In fact, hang on a second here. Let me just check something here.
Because you're right. It is kind of terrifying to think of like a world overrun with these tiny tadpoles, and the first person that set foot on it just got overrun and turned into the first mind flayer.
I legit was about to be like, maybe, you know, Gygax was inspired, but Aliens was in 77. The first mind flayer was in 75. He beat the curve.
Oh, wow.
He beat the curve. Yeah. So, but who knows? I don't know how enumerated their reproductive cycle was at that point. Yeah. But they're not xenomorphs, honestly. They're not xenomorphs. So yeah, and then the tadpole gets in, and it usually reproduces as a mind flayer, but it can be a few different things, which is wild. There's all right, check this out, Trevor. There's all right, so humans, elves, Gith of all kinds, Grimlock, Gnolls, Goblinoids, and Orcs all make mind flayers, right?
Okay.
On occasion, they can make an Ulatharid also, which is like a super mind flayer, like a big old chunky mind flayer.
Oh, I gotta look at that.
And all of their names are like very multiple voweled, like Latin sounding things. But that's usually what happens. But however, on occasion, you can get if you get a mind flayer that infects a dragon with a tadpole.
Excuse me?
It's a brain stealer dragon.
Excuse me? Oh.
That's available to you, friends.
Oh my god.
You can have that.
Oh, that is terrifying.
Yep. Whenever you want, you can have a brain stealer dragon. Yeah.
No, thank you.
Yeah.
Hard pass.
That is so wild. That is so wild. Although it does look like an evil Mr. Snuffleupagus, though.
Oh, I see the one you're looking at. 100%. Yeah. Those big eyes.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, bird.
No one believes I'm real till I eat their brain.
Yeah, and they can't tell anyone. That's another thing, kids. You guys, like, now you don't remember that at the time, Snuffy really was Big Bird's invisible friend for a long time. A long time.
I always forget that that's not terminology anymore. Yeah.
Well, he wasn't invisible, just no one saw him. Yeah. Like, he'd always, like, he was like he was like Superman and Clark Kent. Like, he'd roll up, talk to Big Bird, and leave, and then people be like, "Who are you talking to?" He's like, "Mr. Snuffleupagus." Oh, Bird. Yeah, it was a big reveal when Snuffy was brought to life. Yep. Then there's gnome xenomorphs, which are just awful. Yeah, and they create gnome squidlings.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's actually in the Icewind Dale book, I believe.
I believe they are as well. They should be eradicated. They're abominations. Again, if you put the tadpole into a beholder, which honestly has to just be bad for business.
Google this.
You know what you get? Hold on.
What? Oh, he's getting something, listeners. What is happening? Oh no.
You get this.
Oh!
You get a mind witness.
Whoa!
That's what that is. That is what that is. That is a beholder that is infected by the tadpole.
So yeah, for podcast listeners, he got a mini of it. Oh my gosh, I need him. Oh.
This is from the WizKids Boneyard.
Oh, Boneyard,
which should be available now. It's supposed to be available at the end of March.
It is. Yep.
There you go. So you can get it. It's up in there.
That's so cool.
It's up in there. You get that, and you get a Juicy Boy Cypriex.
No, we don't need that.
I mean, well, oh, I'm sorry. What?
No, don't do it.
You don't?
Don't do it. Oh, he's here.
So juicy. He's so juicy. And it's like the goo is on the platform. The goo on the platform is what it's just, isn't it? Just
no, no, stop kissing it. Oh, no.
He looks so mad, too. I realize you can't quite make it out. He got a little angry face. He got angry, Cypriex. He angry.
I hate everything.
Yeah, then if the tadpole's inserted into a deep gnome, you get a Mozgrakin, which is funny because deep gnomes and normal gnomes, I kind of always think of them as being slightly interchangeable, but what they get turned into is very different. Apparently the Shadowfell, that big Shadowfell energy affects it a lot, and they look almost more like Umber Hulks, to tell you the truth.
Oh, geez.
When they come out as Verfnablin. But again, I just love saying Zverfnablin, by the way.
It is a fun word to say.
Zverfnablin. So we talked about this like uneasy piece of the Underdark. I mean, first of all, the Underdark's gigantic. I think people underestimate just how big the Underdark is.
Well, yeah, I've had players who just thought that the Underdark just was like under a few cities or something like that.
No, I mean, it's the entire Sword Coast, but two, really it's as far as you need it to be, because it goes deeper and goes wider, and as a cavern you've got three-dimensional living.
Well, that one of my favorite things about the in 4th edition with Neverwinter, where they had the Cataclysm and there was the massive chasm in part of the city, is that it went all the way down through the Underdark. Like there were sections of it that were like, here was a tunnel and now things are just crawling out of it. I loved that crap.
The Cybriex keeps looking at me.
Oh no.
I gotta put him back. He's giving me his angry face. But look, again, you can't see him right. Oh, okay, he's out of the light. Now, you were lucky. Otherwise, I was going to give you the extreme close-up of my juicy boy. Yeah, there you go. Hey, that's also available now, Boneyard.
Surprisingly not sponsored.
Surprisingly not. Well, here's the thing. I'm not surprised that it's not sponsored because I'm not sure if I'm helping. But that's still where you could get a juicy boy of your very own.
Yeah, get your juicy boy today.
There's the Zakandi, which is when the tadpole's inserted into a lizard folk.
Man.
Which is see, that kind of just looks like a lizard folk with a beard, He just sort of because it's funny, like I mean, it looks like Davy Jones. Like it would roll in like, do you fear death? 99 souls.
Oh, dude, can you imagine like a whole boat of lizard folk, illithids just like chilling out on the water? Oh, that'd be pretty cool.
Especially because
like
nobody would expect it till you're like, cool. Save against a mind blast. And they're I
just found an older image of it where actually has the tentacles coming off the back of the head.
See, that just seems impractical to me.
Well, unless it's got another mouth back there. It just like picks him up, holds him over.
It's just it like feeds by giving people the Stone Cold Stunner.
Yes,
rip, crunch.
You're in trouble when you hear the beer can open.
Ba-boom. Oh my God!
Oh, look at all
my
the-
God in heaven! He stunned him! He stunned him!
Oh no.
Thank you all for coming with me on this journey.
Yep.
And this combination of my two great loves, Mind Flayers and Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Oh my God.
Okay. Oh no, wait, hang on, I hit the wrong thing.
Oh, no.
Wait, sorry. And then there's how do I even say this? Europhions, which is a roper. That
No.
has been, yeah. Now that's kind of nightmare fuel. That's kind of that's scary looking. That's scary looking. It looks sort of like a I don't know, like a standing stone, almost like an idol with a big eye in it and a big mouth and like a bunch of tentacles coming off of it.
Yeah, nope, hate it. Not a fan. Hate
Yep.
everything about it.
No, this is all useful. This is all useful. I need to know this because reasons and because science. Then they had things that they would make themselves because they are like super intelligent creatures. So that is one thing they got going for them. You are what you eat, right? So their brains. Thank you. They could make golems. They can make brain golems. They could make cranium rats, which were smart rats.
Dude, those things are gnarly.
Yeah. Yep. I think everybody's favorite creatures, the intellect devourers.
Yeah, how did those get made?
So apparently it is a ritual that they do to create it out of the brains of slaves.
Yeah,
that they make.
Yeah, because in Baldur's Gate 3, like one of the first interactions you can have is an intellect devourer in some dude's head.
Yeah.
That's nasty.
Which, I mean, again, do you think like just like a brain running around? I mean, like brains are like fairly squishy. Like you think that wouldn't be that frightening, but then again, I guess
Then
if
the
a brain
tentacles
just,
come out.
right, exactly. And I was gonna be like, if a brain just rolled in here right now, I probably would be like, wait, what? Like, yeah. So true.
I would have a terrible scream happen.
So let me tell you a little bit about. Oh, and also for the record, two things that are great joys of mine are the Alhoon, which are lich mind flayers.
What?
That is a thing, they're intelligent creatures. They can follow the path of lichdom if they so choose. And also they can become vampires.
Okay, that's too much. No, that's...
Well, the liches aren't vampires, but you can, yes. But
No, I know, but still, a mind flayer vampire, that's too much.
I mean, but hey, again, they're a parasitic species. It stands to reason that they also can, like, get a little bit of parasitism going on occasion.
Dang it, now I just want Strahd as a mind flayer and see how ridiculous it would be.
Or at least Strahd have a mind flayer child,
Yeah.
Which he would hate. So yeah, again, they all operate from this shared consciousness. There's a quote from Elminster that when one mind flayer sees ye, they all see ye. One mind, one nasty, suspicious mind. And that is true because the way the elder brain works, what again, continuing up that ladder of parasitism, is when a mind flayer dies, its brain is added to this mass of brains that make in a single unit that is the elder brain.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Yeah. So they keep getting recycled all the way up the chain, and then the elder brains themselves are individuals, though. They have minds, they have personalities. Like Encephalithid was the one that was near Waterdeep for a while. And they all have their own things that they're doing and that they're after, and again, they don't in any way cooperate with each other at all because they're highly competitive of other communities. Now, remember when I mentioned the big chunky ones that come on occasion, the super ones, the illithids. One of the things they happen spontaneously, but one of the things the illithids are for is leaving and creating new colonies. You know, like that's how mind flayers, you know, civilization expands. Because otherwise, yeah, you infect a lot of people, but it's all kind of around this centralized brain. They leave and make new elder brains somewhere else.
The reason I did that face palm right there is because when you were like the super one, I immediately heard in my head Michelangelo's voice going, "It's a super flare!"
You know, that is just a valid reaction, to tell you the truth, if you saw it. Yeah. But so here's the thing, and I will tell you this again. I shout out to James Hake in his article again, I say. But the main thing you got to remember when you use mind flayers as enemies is they're actually not very hard to beat. Like, they're squishy and not very well defended. You know, they're you kind of can just run one over. Like, it's going to hit you with the mind blast, but one, if you act first or enough of you save, you probably are going to squash it. Here's the thing.
Oh, good.
No.
I was gonna say, I can tell you from experience with my group, the Golden Pals, that if a assassin rogue should so happen to sneak up on one and get the higher initiative, it may not get a turn.
Exactly. But you know who else knows that? The mind flayers. And they should adapt their tactics accordingly. You know, like, yeah, they know you're gonna like run through it if you fight it hand to hand. That's why it's not going to fight hand to hand. It has no reason to. It has a near inexhaustible number of slaves that it can like send out. You know, it can charm people, it can stun people, it can like, it's not going to give you a fair 30 style boxing fight. It's got no reason to, you know. And you know, again, I preach this quite a lot. Shout out to Keith Amon, my friend, in his book The Monsters Know What They're Doing.
A good book.
Intelligent creatures can and should behave intelligently. You know, like, they're aware of what you're capable of, and they're aware of their own weaknesses and adjust accordingly, you know. And you know, when you're running a game at your table, you should do the same thing. Luckily enough, Idle Champions has done all the hard work for you, and then just show up and fight your hardest, and they'll be terrible for you, you know. Right. But
that is the one time I fought an Elder Brain as an Idle Champion, so
there you go. I mean, not a lot of people can say that, you know. The one time I fought an Elder Brain, but you know, maybe there's still time that you might get to become one in the fullness of time. Because when you finally get your brain tadpole, through ceramorphosis is the actual name of it, but you know, I like brain tadpole. Maybe Trevor, you're gonna be the one in a million that turns into a big chunky boy that leaves to go to become. Yeah, think about it.
I do really like, I had no idea that before this episode, that there were this many different types of mind flayers, and my brain is just running with ideas of different ways to use this. Cause I like, now looking at it, like, I don't think adventures use that enough, where there's so many different types of them. Cause like, again, taking it back to Alien, as a kid, I loved those damn toys that was just like the bull alien, the scorpion
here's a tiger,
alien.
here's a bear.
Yeah. And
I mean,
like, this is what I want to do with it. I want to take all these and do that.
I mean, realistically, they're not that, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, again, it's they sort of wrote in an escape hatch that they're like, well, only a few creatures can change. I'm like, you sure?
You sure?
Yeah. Because I'm like, I want an illithid Umberhold pronto now. Imagine that it's got the chaos eyes in the
oh my gosh,
the stun effect. That'd be great. Oh, I guess that's one thing I didn't say out loud. They're all innately psionic. All mind flayers have some default psionic abilities. Some of them practice and become scions and can do even more. Usually you know them because they've got extra long tentacles, befitting a gentleman, I suppose. You know, the easier to put your monocle on your eye when you have extraneous tentacles, you know. And it is possible also to have some mind flayers that have free will. They don't want to leave the Elder Brain, but if they get far enough from it long enough, they can break out from it, but there's no guarantee at all whatsoever that they'll be a good person. They'll probably be a bad person, but they'll be their own bad person. But it is possible to have good mind flayers once they've broken free from the Elder Brain. We had one, again, in a Dark and Wish. I had one that had broken free that was, what did I call them? I forget. It was something like, the... Now it's gonna bother me the rest of the day. I'm gonna think of it at like 5 o'clock.
That was 2 times that podcast listeners stopped and looked at their phone to make sure it's still playing.
It's true, exactly. I'm like, you lagged out. That wasn't you that lagged out. It was my brain that lagged out. But I mean, it was like The Stranger or something. But it was like more than that. But they had a mind flayer that was helping them that had broken free from the collective. So that was because theoretically that's what Freely was. Ostensibly, when they met him, was a mind flayer that had broken free from the colony.
I've done one of them in my story, and a wizard did it around how it happened. But like, I do like doing that though. Like I like even in Idle Champions, there's a few like this where it's like it is a creature that is normally the ultimate big bad. That's like, no, I'm gonna help you. I'm chill.
Well, again, that's a sticking point of mine that I've worked a lot with D&D on this, that any innate correlation between race and morality is problematic.
Yes.
Even with a monster race, even when you're like, they're the bad people. I'm like, yeah, okay. But I mean, like, some of them aren't though.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's where Dritz Duerden comes from, the noble drow. And there is accounting for that, but like there are no good elder brains. And I mean, don't get me wrong, 99% of mind flayers are bad, but if you want one that is not bad, or if you even want one that's worse, you can have one that's worse.
One that's going after mind flayers itself.
Exactly, but worse of their own free will. I would be remiss if I didn't point out that, of course, there's always some like weird, gross implications of slavery in a fantasy setting. But I mean, in this particular setting, they are a race that's what they crush free will.
Yeah,
they eat brains. They're horrible. And I think you need something horrible. If only to give your heroes something noble to pit themselves against.
Yeah.
So. Also a big fan of mind flayers.
Well, before we hand it over to chat to see what they've been up to, any last thoughts or anything on mind flayers?
I mean, I've said it twice before, but I'm gonna say it a third time. Do read James Haig's article. He really covers a really great, but specific tactics about how to use these creatures in a way that is compelling.
And Keith Amon's book.
And Keith Amon's book. Yep. Monsters Know What They're Doing. Shout out to Keith Amon.
Yep.
But it's D&D, especially now that I'm storytelling Ravenlaw, Black Dice Society. For the most part, D&D is fairly straightforward. It is fairly hack and slash. You come around the corner, you see an ogre, you're going to beat the ogre. The dice might surprise and betray you at times, but that's what CRs are. Your dungeon master confronts you with a challenge that you have every reasonable expectation of overcoming. But on occasion, you can really play with those expectations and create something really fulfilling when you deny them that I kick in the door and kill it,
Yes.
And there's a lot of great ways to do that narratively. And again, the mind flayer doesn't want to die. That reminds me again of an adventure I've mentioned before, a box set that I've got. It's a Dragon Mountain, and it's a high level adventure, but it's you come to this mountain and it's all rigged with traps because kobolds are in there, just CR1 kobolds, but they've taken the time to just predator it against you, And the whole time you're like trying to get a hold of them and you can't. And even when you like manage to like throw a fireball or something, like you kill 6 CR1 kobolds, do you feel good about that? Okay. Also, they just drop boiling oil on you and you're like, what? Because that's the I have you now. That's playing with that those expectations of what the monsters are capable of and what really formulates a challenge. And I highly, highly, highly recommend mind flayers as an awful foe that they will love finally being able to get their hands around. And if you want to see how I did it, all of season 2 of A Dark and Wish is up on D&D YouTube. You get a lot of this too.
Oh,
Yeah.
God. I love
That's
it.
for you podcast people.
Yeah, especially for you. Let's see. Sanocraft says, wouldn't it be better if you had a Mind Flayer image overlaid on Erin's photo?
Just as if we'd had more time to just Photoshop some tentacles like wrapping around like one already got her. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it would have been good. Cassius335 says, I wonder if illithid knowledge knows how to enable the come here function on Storm Herald. What?
Oh, that's a in Heroes of the Plains, we lost our ship. Well, we didn't lose our ship. We fled it actively.
I got you.
Well, we took it from some mind flayers, and then now we've lost it also. And they were wondering if like we could pull it. I just pulled up Twitch and I see Erin. Oh, I pulled it up. I'm like, how's Erin there? And I'm like, oh, techno wizardry. Yes.
I know.
Well
I thought about the fact that like some people probably weren't here at the beginning and they just came in on Erin frozen.
Yeah, she's been stunned.
Yep.
Also, Obo Lauren in chat has shout out to Obo Lauren. Just wrote, we had Storm Herald for 1 day in caps, and then wrote again 1 day. However, in my defense, I commandeered a Mind Flayer vessel, and now we got that. So
I feel
badass. Like tentacles are an objective upgrade.
I feel like I mean, this is just me. I feel like anytime the heroes steal the bad guy's ship, you just got to have an episode of Star Trek 4. Like, it just has to happen. Let's see. Dark Cyril says, Mind Flayer's love language is 100% physical touch. Damn it! Cassie's 335 are Beholder plus Mind Flayer hybrids called Mind Blowers. Well played. Little golf clap there. There you go. Kizzy 0975 Mind Flayers plus anything is a nightmare. 100%.
Also true.
Yeah.
Also true. That's like you look at a Mind Flayer and you're like, it's objectively terrible, but what if we made it worse?
This presents an interesting question for me, and I think this was started as a joke, but I have a question now. So Sanocraft comes back and says, would a Mind Flayer plus Eye Tyrant hybrid be a Mind Tyrant or an Eye Flayer? But here's the thing. Can they take over an undead? Like, I know they got lynched them, but I think they can do that themselves. But could they overtake a zombie? That be a thing?
I mean, I would think they couldn't overtake one, but theoretically, a mind witness could become a zombie. Theoretically.
Oh yeah.
Theoretically.
Yeah.
I mean, again, you dig deep enough. All of them are because reasons.
Yep. A wizard did it.
Yeah, I told you I had this conversation with Jeremy Crawford about like, why are there half this and half that? And he gave me this lengthy explanation, and it goes back to the beginning of D&D where half elves came from, and the orcs were an infectious, invasive species. You caught orcdom, And after he kept talking, I was just kind of like, yeah, but your answer is ultimately because reasons. That's what you just said. You said it far more eloquently, but you just said that. Like, I mean, don't get me wrong. A half dwarf is an abomination that should be eradicated. But within the lore as we've established it, there's no reason there shouldn't be one. I mean, don't get me wrong. There should not be one.
It's mostly all beard.
Yeah, exactly. But imagine if you were like a half dwarf, but you got this like super patchy thing, and like no dwarves respected you in the human. Like you're just like a dude with like really broad shoulders and an actual neck beard, and just no one wants you, no one loves you.
Oh God,
it's the birth of a supervillain right there.
Dark Sir, I feel like this joke is a week early, but I'm going to read it anyways. Valkith Robbins, 31 Flavors of Gith. I like that a lot. Sadocraft back once again. Not even Desperate Housewives of Menzo Baranza.
I mean, again, we can set up a full franchise, because there's some Desperate Housewives in Menza Branson. And remember, we talked about how the drow come up in society.
I know, but now I'm picturing that like Driss Stewart comes up, but he's voiced by Kyle MacLachlan. Oh man,
it's not.
Master Burglar asked this at C&E Games. Can we do an audio drop of Erin M. Evans laughing from time to time? Again, if I had more time, would 100% been there.
I mean, we just need that in general. You know what I mean? To just like little gleeful time bombs to just set off during other streams. Yes. Somebody just wrote Desperate Housewives of Menza Brands and is Just Drow Society. That is true, Dark Cyril. That is true. Somebody else asked a second ago
Yep.
if the Mind Flayer ships are just modified Spelljammer ships. Like, no, they've got their own. Like, they have their own thing. Which, if you got some time, Google Spelljammer ships.
Okay. CNE, again, chat, I don't know anything. I don't know stuff. I'm here, I talk, this is what I do. CNE, if you could just, like, sneak some Spelljammer in there so we can talk about it, I would love that so much.
Spelljammer confirmed. Yep. Yeah.
The way space works in D&D is so wrong, but so cool.
You know, well, I mean, this is not completely off topic because both the Mind Flayers and the Gith are spacefaring races. So this is still relevant. It never made sense though. No. Where you're like, we're in space, but there's goblins. What?
Mm-hmm.
You know,
like, we're in space in a ship that doesn't have that has like a deck, and you can just walk around and breathe.
Yeah, we're fine. In space on a ship that has sails or is shaped like a swan, or and it's like what? All right, yeah.
My favorite one. I'm not gonna say what supplement it's from, but there is a ship out there, a Spelljammer ship that is piloted by a Mind Flayer. And it is a wood ship shaped like a squid. And it just travels through space and time, and I love everything about it.
Because reasons.
Jay at our text document said kind of like Space and Treasure Planet. Well played.
Somebody asked if a half-halfling is a three-quarterling, and I did. So in the first stream I ever did, Theogony and Kairos, which is set in the same continuity of these World Builders games I've been doing, I had a half-halfling, half-Asimar that I'd named Crawford expressly for Jeremy Crawford because he's like, you can't do it. And I'm like, I think I can, Jeremy Crawford.
Just watch.
That's why I named the baby after him, and they referred to him multiple times as a quarterling. A half-halfling. Yep. Mm-hmm. Not a three-quarterling, a quarterling. Yes.
I love it.
Garwar is right. Treasure Planet is an underrated movie.
See, here's the problem. My wife is telling me that, and I know it's true, and I still haven't watched it. I know I'm a terrible person. Don't hate me.
You haven't watched Treasure Planet yet?
I haven't. I need to.
Here's the problem. I don't know how well it's aged.
I know that's what I'm worried about. I kind of want to just hold it in high regard in my head without actually seeing it, but I probably will watch it someday.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Master Burglar. Wait, Snuffleupagus is a xenomorph? Yes, 100%. Big.
Think about it. I mean, clearly it's a parasitic invasive species because that was an elephant once. Okay. But it's not anymore.
Dark Cyril is speaking my language, and you know I'm stretching because I love this idea so much. Dark Cyril says, new headcanon for you, Trevor. Beholders dreamed the first Mind Flayer into existence. I love that so much.
This sounds like something they would do and would completely get away from them, and they're simultaneously very proud of it, but also can't admit it.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's this beholder council's like, we got to do something about this Mind Flayer problem. Where did they come from? There's a beholder on the side, just side-eye, just, I don't know. That was real weird.
I don't know who created them, but they're really incredible, right?
Yeah, they're kind of cool, right? Like they got that neat look to them.
An absolute genius must have made them, though, right? Yeah. Agreed.
Oh, God.
There's the Babylon Rangers, right? There's also space whales and Spelljammer, like legit whales, because reasons. Although the space whale things come up a lot. Star Wars Rebels did space whales too. Squiddy space whales. Maybe they also were Mind Flayer.
No.
Yeah. Infected by it.
Surprise! Everything's a Mind Flayer.
That should have been the name of the episode.
Now I'm picturing a Mind Flayer mimic. It's a treasure chest with tentacles coming off of it.
I know,
it's not that good at hiding.
And then it's like, joke's on you, mind blast.
Yeah, exactly.
Eat your brain.
Let's see. Babylon Ranger 2261 says, Squid Tab.
Hang on a second. What? Mox Pearl just said B-Dave goes off on all these crazy tangents when Aaron isn't here to reel him in. First of all, how dare you?
How dare you?
How dare you?
You think Aaron wouldn't be in on these?
Exactly.
You're out of your mind.
You're not insulting me. You're insulting Aaron. And also, this is relevant. They are a spacefaring race of infectious aliens.
Yes. Though, real talk, when we did decide to start another podcast, we did have the conversation, okay, are we sure the three of us can stay on topic if it's just us?
Unless that is the topic.
Yes, it is.
There you go.
100%.
Let the knowledge flow through you.
Babylon Ranger, squid tadpole plus deep gnome equals big yellow insect. How? What? I don't know about this.
Oh yeah, no, it is. If you look at the creature, it is like they that's what they look like. They're like big bugs that even though they were deep gnomes, which is odd. Again, you have to think too. That is like that's probably so awkward because again, you know, everybody kind of agrees you stay over there and you stay over there, and then this thing goes crawling by that you know was a Swerfnabelin, and it's like, yo, hey, and I'm like, you know.
I feel like if I did a Mind Flayer campaign, I would have to have the audio clip of Sam Rockwell and Galaxy Quest going, "Oh, that's not right," just on loop.
Yep. Same thing. The Mind Witness just goes floating by, and the other beholders are like, we're not going to talk about this. We're not. Oh, okay.
Steve,
great.
What did you do?
If you got to think about it, you know, the Mind Witness, like I'm really, the mark my words, dear listener, you have not heard the last of this in my stories, because I feel like a Mind Witness is the supremacist. Think about it.
Oh my God.
It was already a beholder that has now been turned into a Mind Flayer, and it is like, I am the supreme being. Like,
yeah. I
am personally the supreme being.
Okay, I'm gonna pitch an idea. Actually, no, I'll save it for later. Maybe it'll come up at another point. Viewers, listeners, you'll see.
No, you have to say it now because you'll forget. You have to say it.
That's right. ADHD will take this idea from me. You have a Mind Witness that is like so much like I am the supreme being that it decides, like we were saying too, like where it's the extremist version of it, where now it's going after and killing other Mind Flayers to make its own elder brain to ascend even further.
Done. There it is. You can use that at your table.
Do it.
That's it. Because that makes sense.
But bringing it back to, that's not right. Evil Emperor Zerg says Zibriak's wearing sweatpants that say juicy on the back, and I hate
you. But it's like, since it's got. Okay, I won't go get it again. Don't do it. But since it's tethered by the chains, right? Like the sweatpants are through the chain.
I hate it so much.
Yep, also, a Mind Witness is the D&D version of MODOK. You are right, Dark Cyril.
Oh my God, MODOK. Let's see. David Samuel Ayers says, what happens if you put a brain tadpole in a deity of wisdom? But I don't even know what happens if you put it in a deity.
Hang on, I'm going to answer that. But somebody else, Snoo Chains, which is a great name, by the way, wrote Mind Witness Vampire Lord. Let's make it happen.
Oh,
here's the problem.
Jesus.
I'm a refugee from 3.5, where they had something called templates.
Yep.
Where you could take any monster and you just slapped this other template on it, where you were like, now it's multi-headed.
Okay.
So it got these.
You make that sound way easier than it was.
I mean,
you needed at least 1 degree in something to do that.
Have you ever looked at the Ultimate Tarrasque? Have you ever looked that up?
No. Oh God, you told me about this.
I did, where they took the Tarrasque and they put every possible template on it.
Yep.
It's a lot. It's a lot. It's a lot. You should Google it when we're done here, folks.
Yep.
However, this the Mind Witness Vampire Lord, in the strictest technical sense, looking at this from a templated standpoint, is you had the beholder that became a Mind Flayer. Mind Flayers can become vampires. Theoretically, a Mind Witness could become a vampire. By the lore that they have established, it could be a thing.
Oh, I hate it. But it's so true. It's 100% possible.
I am that person.
Let's see. Jilliqual says, what do Mind Flayers have nightmares about? And I mean, I don't think they sleep personally. But they're just constantly there.
I don't think Mind Flayers sleep either. And you said a second before, what was it about putting this in a god of wisdom? Was that what they said?
Oh yeah. It was so what happens if you put one of the tadpoles in a deity of wisdom? But I don't even know. I don't even think like a deity would care. Like I don't think it would be a thing for them.
I mean, again, before now it hadn't been a thing, but I mean, we're just one supplement away from some demigod that got like mind weevil.
Okay, so a demigod I could see working.
I feel like it needs to be a creature that needs a brain to live, which, believe it or not, I think gods probably don't.
Yeah,
so, because they can manifest and not manifest. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like they're, you need one head and one brain.
Yeah.
Because it is adamant about it. Because the same thing, when they eat your brain, it'll kill anything unless it's multiple headed. So I think that, to me, that would be the limit of what can and cannot be infected. But but if you got something that's like walking around somewhere, I mean, again, hey, if we can have polar bears, we can have giant illithids. Why not?
Freaking Garwar says they don't sleep, so B-Dave is a mind flayer.
They know. Release the tadpoles. Yeah, it was me the entire time.
It was B-Dave all along. Careful, Disney will come for us.
That's true. 8 bars.
Yep. Well, I think that is all we're going to get to today. I think we covered a lot of good ground, though. A lot of good 100%. Lore ground. If we didn't cause at least one adventure hook in y'all's heads today, I'll be surprised.
I mean, I feel like this was the best we could have reasonably hoped for, sans Erin. Yes,
100%. 100%. And we do hope Erin is getting better. She's just out for the day. Hopefully she'll be back next week. So we'll all wish her getting well soon. But B-Dave.
Oh wait, Trontarian just wrote the real treasure was the tadpoles we had included in our brains along the way.
Oh my god!
Well played, Trontarian. Well played.
Dang it!
Yeah, you can find me somewhere doing something almost 7 days a week, but most importantly, Thursdays at 4 on D&D, Twitch, and YouTube, running Black Dice Society, which is a Ravenloft horror-themed campaign that is just super happy fun time, and none of the things I've talked about are going to come up there at all. Don't worry about it.
Absolutely not. Not a problem. Yep. Not a thing. Yeah, and also if you're here right now on a Monday, there's also a new episode of Black Dice Society on most podcast services. So you can go check it out.
We got like a fantastic podcast editor. Like, I mean, he is smart and handsome, a shiny beard, smooth hair. It's just a great guy. Yes, we are. There is the audio podcast, Black Dice Society, that is edited by the Treavor Bettis, which is no small thing. By the way, every week one person is like, "Oh, sorry, I had this catastrophic issue," and it's like,
B-Dave messaged me. No, but it's fine. I make it work. But yeah, you can also find me on the Difficulty Class podcast, post every Friday, where me and Allie talk about some D&D. We're having a lot more just random fun conversations. Like last week we just decided to decide which classes the cast of Thor Ragnarok are, and it was a blast. I'm sure a lot of arguments are going to get started from that episode. But thank you. Oh, and also Champions of Psychology is coming back tomorrow, 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, here on twitch.tv/CNE Games. We're going to be having some good conversations, going for some more episodes, and we hope that you join us on it and engage in those conversations. And also, sometime soon, the two of us and Erin will be on another podcast called Writing About Dragons and Shit, and you can write in your writing questions to us, and we might talk about it. I want to thank Jay for modding in the chat as always and doing a phenomenal job, and I want to thank Codename Entertainment for letting us talk about some D&D and just laughing way too hard at things and spiking the mic. If you missed any part of the show, you can catch it later as a podcast at 2 p.m. And for podcast listeners, don't forget you can write into Champions of Lore at codenameentertainment.com with any lore questions or suggestions for topics. Also, continuing Lauren Urban's reign of the streams from last week, she is going to be on Bardic Inspiration tomorrow, so be sure to catch that episode.
We're gonna get Norkira song. Yay! Norkira is available in Idle Champions. So add her in.
Awesome.
Add her into your formation. Also, Bardic Inspiration Volume 1, the album, also out now.
So if you have not listened to it, I beg of you, please. It's so good. But yeah, so the Champion Psychology tomorrow at 11 a.m. and then Bardic Inspiration with Lauren Urban at 1 p.m. I believe it is. And yeah, so if you are live with us right now, catch those tomorrow. I don't know why I said that part. That I used to say that for the presents, but we'll get there eventually. But if you're not live with us right now and listening later on podcast services, we'd love for you to be in the chat with us next week. But until then, champions out.